Ari, can you talk to us a little bit about what makes this different? You started this platform for the trading of privately held stock. We know that NASDAQ has been trying to build a private markets venture. We know that Carta has been trying to build a stock market for private firms. What have you built here? Why is it different?
Well, thanks for having me on the program, Sonali. ClearList is the stock market for private companies. It's going to solve a number of big problems. First, it'll allow retail investors to get a piece of that private startup and unicorn investing action. It gives a transparent pre-IPO valuation to private companies. It makes it easier for those private companies to go public. And it's going to help those companies and their employees raise capital to grow themselves out of the COVID-19 crisis. And what makes ClearList different is that while there are other platforms that claim to solve this problem, those platforms are horribly inefficient and their business models are flawed for both the issuer and the investor, mainly because they charge ridiculous commissions, some as high as 5%. And investors on those platforms are suffering, and companies are frustrated, and ClearList is going to clean that all up.
So you already have one client signed up, one firm, a plant breeding technology startup, but can you see much larger companies like Airbnb, like DoorDash starting to use this platform?
Absolutely. Cybus is a great company who isn't quite ready to go public, but wanted accurate price transparency, efficient capital raising, and trading activity for their securities. So ClearList is the perfect solution and can provide that solution for companies both big and small.
So Ari, how is this all working? Did you get investments or are you treating it almost like, seed capital or what have you in order to get this off the ground?
Sure. ClearList is going to make private company investing as easy as public company investing. It's a transparent, low-cost marketplace for the trading of private company securities. There'll be companies participating and having their securities trade there. There's an enormous all-digital investing platform that includes the largest institutional and family investment offices in the country. And GTS, the largest market maker at the NYSE, is going to stand ready on ClearList with a bid if an investor wants to sell, and an offer if an investor wants to buy, just like we do day in and day out at the NYSE.
How much involvement does Paul Tudor Jones, Steve Cohen have? How much money do they fork out, Ari?
Yeah, well, ClearList has a broad array of blue chip industry supporters like Paul Tudor Jones and Steve Cohen, TD Ameritrade, T. Rowe Price, former acting chair of the SEC, and Commissioner Mike Piwar, and it just goes to show that there's a real need for a platform like ClearList, and that need goes deep within all corners of the industry. And for Paul, I've known Paul a long time, going all the way back to when I was a trader on the floor of the New York Cotton Exchange at the former World Trade Center. And when we told Paul about the project, he wanted to get in on the ground floor because he thought ClearList would be the future of private company investing. We went through the investment process with him, and we're delighted to have his support.
Ari, this is coming at an interesting time because we see liquidity for these privately held firms already be pretty challenged with the IPO market closing up as it has. With that said, also, what type of risk appetite do investors really have for these private companies, these pre-IPO firms?
Yeah, well, ClearList is going to provide liquidity for these top-tier private companies when they're, as you said, their private financing sources are seizing up. The COVID crisis is a transitional moment when, venture and private equity capital firms are pulling back and the IPO window is not open. ClearList can be there and provide deep pools of liquidity for these companies and really help them.
All right, I do want to also ask, just from your spot at the New York Stock Exchange, you have this booming presence there. You see, the GTS signs down at the stock exchange. We've seen people have to go electronic in a way we've never seen before. Is there a need for a physical floor?
Absolutely. I mean, certainly since March, our NYSE market making team has been operating remotely, managing over 1,000 companies and listings nearly $12 trillion in market cap, and trading's been smooth despite all the volumes and volatility. And of course, we'd like to see the floor open up as soon as it's safe, just like most people, because there's a tremendous amount of valuable content and a lot of professionals down there that can help their clients, and these are mainly institutional investors, navigate the investing landscape. So while things have been smooth with the floor closed, I think everyone is looking forward to getting that open as soon as possible.